Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Today is Friday, June 27th, Jummah Mubarak, and the S&P closed at a record today, despite trade angst and Trump complaining about Canada being hard to deal with. You can see that we've had a dramatic rebound from the April 2nd Liberation Day panic, and we are now at new all-time highs for the S&P. Looking at some of the other names that we like to look at, Tesla completed its first week, basically almost this Sunday, first week of Robotaxi rides, and no news is good news. Yet investors are sleeping on this company. I do believe that slowly this rollout will expand, and then all of a sudden it will go to hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of cars that are on the road, and then you'll see people scrambling as they realize what we've realized for a while now on this channel, which is that Tesla is the leader in robotaxis, and that is a cash rich business, a very profitable business. And it is really the only company that is in a position to operate robotaxis profitably. Looking at some of the other positions, Bitdeer was down 1%, TSM up 2%, CLSK down 1.3%, CoreWeave up, and silver, gold, and oil all red. Bitcoin, Solana, Doge, all green, with Solana being the most in green, up 2.5% to 142 a token. Bitcoin is at 107,000. I'll tell you why I think that we are in the calm before the storm stage. By the way, before I go further, do leave a like if you enjoy these lives. The market is pricing in a 93% chance of a September rate cut. This is very bullish. Obviously, we've seen some signs of weakness in the labor market. We've seen signs of weakness in GDP. We had the first negative quarter of GDP in years in Q1 this year. So there is incentive. We are seeing inflation coming down. So there is incentive for the Fed to cut. If only to get away from Trump's wrath and discontent with the job that Powell is doing. Probably he will not be renewing his contract. Now, in addition to the rate cut, we are seeing signs that correspond with, consolidation before a pop here. Volatility lows typically happen before this for Bitcoin, before pops in price. And that's what we experienced between April and June, just consolidation above 100 for Bitcoin. Despite everything that was thrown at it, it remained largely above 100,000, consolidating between the 100 and 110,000 mark. And then I do believe that we will get a breakout in the coming weeks and the next leg up. Institutional conviction remains strong. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong mentioned that they're buying more Bitcoin every week. Every other day you hear about another company that is using Bitcoin in its treasuries. Institutional investors are starting to catch on. And then next month, you have the Genius and Clarity Acts that should experience a lot of progress, that will be bullish for crypto generally, as the regulatory framework for crypto starts to crystallize and will give institutions a lot more leeway, a lot more opportunity to actually deal in crypto once those regulations are crystallized. So we are, whether it's macro or from a fiscal perspective, we are setting up here nicely for a pop in crypto generally. And then if you look at some of the particulars of cryptos that we like to talk about, the Dogecoin ETF was amended. The filing was amended by Bitwise to allow for in-kind redemptions And typically, these amendments happen when the regulators ask for them. So they're in the process of approving something, but there are some things that need to be changed before that approval happens, and that's when you have amendments. Typically, that's how it works. So the probability for a Dogecoin ETF approved in 2025 seems to be very high. Now we went over Bitcoin setup and why that appears to be bullish. The correlation of Dogecoin with Bitcoin during periods of bull markets is extremely high. And so Dogecoin tends to move in the same direction as Bitcoin during bull markets. And the percentage that it tends to move in tends to be greater because it's a smaller asset. And so that is looking good for the Doge setup. And then also, it's not just crypto and US markets that are seeing interest in Turkey. Largest inflow in Turkish stocks ETFs in 2 years. And so that's good. That's always something that is good to see. And I do predict that international stocks, Turkish stocks, other international stocks will become more commonly talked about and analyzed on this channel, inshallah, and part of our PIF portfolio as well, inshallah. So if you'd like to join PIF and see what we're investing in, make sure to become a PIF member. Link to do so is in the description of this video, as I mentioned. Do make sure to leave a like if you haven't already. In fact, thank you for sharing. Sold a portion of a position that we had for a 30% profit recently, and that's always good to see. Nax, assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you. People usually opt in for safer assets such as gold during times of uncertainty and turbulence. Gold has had quite the run this year, and so that has definitely held true. People usually, okay. Mr. Kilo says, thank you for the great value you're bringing to the Muslim community. Jazakallah khair. Wa yakum, Mr. Kilo. Thank you for your comment. What digital assets can be considered as safe investments? Well, I'm not sure you can consider them safe investments, but I think the safest digital asset will definitely be Bitcoin. Certainly, it is. Proponents of Bitcoin will tell you it's digital gold. Hasn't necessarily performed as digital gold as of yet, but that's sort of the end state that many people envision for this asset. And in terms of market cap, it is definitely head and shoulders above the next in line. Currently sporting a $2 trillion market cap plus, and who knows how high it gets. If you look at all the assets globally, that's close to 400 trillion. So at 2 trillion for what is meant to be digital gold, you can imagine that there's a lot of upside left. Rushd says, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for all what you do for PIF members. It is my pleasure. What do I think about ASP? We'll have an update on ASP shortly, inshallah. Thank you for your question and thank you for your comment. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Remember, the cost of coffee is now at a yearly low. So take advantage of that. Enjoy your weekend. And until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.